Hello lovely Flosstube friends and welcome back to my channel. My name is Lauren, also known as Cross Stitch Bunny, here on YouTube and over on Instagram. Today is the 7th of August and today's episode is going to be my roundup of all my July stitching. I am filming a little bit late because we are in the middle of the school holidays at the moment, in the thick of it. I don't feel like I've had a spare 2 minutes, never mind a good half hour to an hour to film a Flosstube. But the kids are at Adam's mum and dad's tonight. They have been there all day, in fact, today, having a grandma and granddad day, and they're having a sleepover. Adam is currently playing video games with his headset on, so I thought this is the perfect time to come into the quiet of my bedroom and do a bit of filming. There is a fly in this room that keeps flying. I feel like it keeps flying in front of the camera. It's really annoying. It's gone over there somewhere. Anyway, yes, so I do have, I think, 5 or 6 projects to share with you today. One is a finish, and the rest of them are just whips, no new starts. I have forgotten to bring my sort of monthly planning journal downstairs with me, but I'm pretty sure I started the month on 33 whips. Yes, 33 whips. So with my one finish, I ended the month of July on 32 whips. I'm fairly sure that those are my current numbers of where I am at. You will notice that I have not done a whip parade. I have seen quite a few other people putting out the whip parades, not had much time to do any watching, unfortunately. I've bookmarked quite a few to come back to later, but I've just not had the time for a mid-year whip parade. And also, when I briefly considered trying to squeeze one in, I looked at my sort of notebook of projects this year, and I realised that my whip parade, if I did one mid-year, would be very, very similar to the one I did at the beginning of the year, because I have had, I think, about 10 finishers so far this year, which is a really amazing number. However, most of the finishers that I have had, I think except 1 or 2, all of the others have been started within this year and also finished in this year, and they have mainly been from the Wordy Bird series that I was trying to keep up with. So yes, we are, what are we? We are August now, and I think I've done every Wordy Bird and finished every Wordy Bird up to, trying to think, up to June. Then I skipped July because it was 4th of July themed. But yes, all of the January to June Wordy Birds I have started and finished within this year, and I've shared with you in various episodes. So they make up the bulk of my finishers for this year. I've had a couple of other random finishers, one which you are going to see today. And then I've finished, like I said, either 1 or 2 whips that actually were in my whip parade of things that I brought into 2025. So if I was to re-record a whip parade at this point in time, I would basically be showing you the exact same selection of projects from the year before, minus 1 or 2 that would be missing, and there would be a handful of new starts from this year that haven't yet been finished, but not an awful lot. So I've decided to completely skip that, but I'm really hoping to do a nice whip parade at the end of the year that will hopefully look a lot different, because I do want to chip away at getting quite a few finishers from my current whips, many of which came through from the previous year. And I also am itching to start all the things. I keep having like a battle with myself that August, I keep thinking, shall I just do all the things August? I don't know if that's a thing, but I was like, maybe I'll do an all the things August where I just start everything, because there's so many things on my list of starts that I want to start. But at the same time, I know from previous, like when I start creeping over the 30 whips and getting like close to the 40s or even over the 40s, sometimes I feel overwhelmed. So I don't know whether I should do it to myself, as much as the idea of having lots of new starts this month is very tempting and very appealing. We shall see. I haven't yet decided. I will have some life update at the very end, but for now, let's look at my finish first. Yeah, let's look at my finish. So I do have my big notes here for all my sort of fabric details and everything. At least I've been organised in that respect today. So the first project that I'm sharing with you is my strawberry bunny, and it is a finish. I started this one in May when I did Mania with Rosie. We picked 5 projects each to start in May, and we sort of had a few matching projects where we were stitching on the same thing. And then we also had a few where we just picked a theme, and we both picked a different project that fit in with that theme. One of the themes was strawberry, and here is my strawberry bunny. Isn't she cute? I absolutely love her so much, and she was a real joy to stitch. I decided to stitch her on just a green sparkly Ada, so she was a very easy stitch on this fabric. I think it's a 14 count, but I will refer to my notes. Yes, I have written down that this is 14 count. It is DMC branded Ada, and it is opalescent celery green, although I'm not sure if that is the official name or just the name that was sort of on the packet from where I had purchased it, because it just had sort of a printed label stuck on the front. I don't know if you can see the sparkles, but it is a nice sparkly fabric, and she is just so super cute. This design is by Svetlana Sichkar. I believe that she still sells on Etsy. I bought these bunny patterns, of which I have several, quite some number of years ago. She has a whole range of bunnies. Some are just in like cute dresses, like my strawberry bunny. And some of them are in like animal themes. Some are like fairy tale theme. And the ones that I really gravitated to were like the animal themed ones. So I do have quite a few others in my stash. I think I've got like there's a bumblebee bunny, there's a frog, there's a fox, there's a squirrel, there's a panda. There's lots of them in like cute animal themed hats and little outfits. And then there is this strawberry one, which I just liked as well. And there's also a unicorn. Yes. I'll try and pop a few pictures on the screen actually, so that as I've been mentioning them, you will have been able to see a few little previews. But yeah, I have quite a collection of these patterns. I've had them for years and I have never stitched a single one. So I decided during Mania to make this the first bunny that I stitched. Yeah. She's very pretty. I've stitched her with CXC because I did buy these quite some time ago, and I had actually kitted this one up at the time. So all the CXC threads for her were ready to go. I'll give you one last little close-up just to appreciate all her details. I do love this designer's work, and I love how she uses the backstitch to get all the detail in. Absolutely beautiful, like so effective. I love her eyelashes and the way that her face is charted. She is just so super cute. And all of the backstitch just really brings these patterns to life. Very, very clever to get so much detail in with a relatively low stitch count, because these are not big patterns. This is, if I have a quick look in my book, sorry that I keep looking down, I've got my notes down there today. She is 72 by 93 stitch count, so she's not a huge stitch count at all. 72 by 93, and that's obviously not full coverage. So yes, I feel like I sped through this one quite quickly. She was started on the 24th of May, and she was finished on the 24th of July, to think then, 24th of July, and I stitched on plenty of other things in between, and I also had quite a lot of days where I didn't stitch because I've had a few months of lack of stitching prior to July, which you'll be aware of if you watch me regularly. A lot of life happened. So yeah, all things considering, she got stitched up pretty fast. And I think she's the only project that I have finished from my Mania starts, excluding the wordy bird that I started. So yes, that's 2 projects finished from Mania, 3 left to go. But there is Strawberry Bunny. My next project to share with you has not seen a huge amount of progress. So this is The Baker's Wife by Nora Corba under the Mirabilia brand, and she was my very first Mirabilia, which tells me that if I'm looking for her notes, I'm going to have to go very, very far back in this book. Yes, so in my book, she is my second oldest whip currently, and I started her on the 1st of September 2021. So yes, she is getting on a bit. Let's have a look at her. I will pop on the screen my progress from last time you saw her on Flosstube. And I believe that this is the first time I've pulled her out and worked on her this year. So you have not seen her on Flosstube since my beginning of year / end of last year whip parade. She hasn't had a huge amount of progress, but I did pull her out. And this is where we're at now. I have just started to roll her over, but there's not much to see up there. It is just the top of her frame. And I know she doesn't look hugely different, but I was just glad to have pulled her out and rediscovered her kind of thing. And the little bit of stitching that I did do was all with the Caron water lilies. I'll just see if I can roll her down a little bit more. Yeah, so if I pull her up there, it was literally just this little purple bit here that I did with the water lilies, just this tiny bit. And I love working with Caron water lilies. They are gorgeous, beautiful threads to work with. Really, really love them. But I pulled them out, got really excited to start stitching on her. And like, I don't think it's ever happened to me with water lilies before, but I threaded it, I pulled it through, I did like 2 or 3 stitches and I got a giant big tangle that I then spent ages undoing because I didn't want to cut up and hack away at my silks. And yeah, it took me ages. Like I probably spent more time getting that giant knot out than I did actually stitching this tiny bit of stitching at the bottom. But I thought I would include her anyway because technically she has had some progress and it's nice to see her again after so long. She is being stitched on 32 count Sparkle Blush Blooms fabric from my own Stitch Bunny shop. So it has like an opalescent finish. And it is sort of pink and green pastel mottling. I don't know how well that translates to camera, but it is a very, very pretty fabric. One of my favourites. 32 count even weave, as I said. And she is being stitched with DMC. So all of the called for DMC. And she does have beads on her. I have been beading as I go. And the beads on this are the called for Mill Hill that I just bought as the pack. I just bought the whole embellishment pack before I started her. So that is my Mirabilia. I've not worked on any of my fancy ladies for a while. I think my most recent one I've worked on before I pulled her back out was Cordelia, my Bella Mermaid, and I don't feel like she's been out for a couple of months either. So yeah, that was that. I then decided at some point this month, I was just picking sort of random projects, and I decided that this one had not seen love for quite a while. This is my Deadly Aquarium piece. It was originally a sal, so I'm in the habit of calling it the Deadly Aquarium sal, but I did not participate in it as a sal. So it is just the Deadly Aquarium, and this is by Lola Crow. It is a gorgeous design. I know everybody is super familiar with this. If you're not, you must be hiding under a stitching rock because everybody seems to have stitched this. Yes, I've seen it finished at quite a few retreats since this pattern was released, and now that the sale is very much over, you can just buy the pattern as a pattern. I think it's available in both printed and PDF form. And yes, I have made a bit of progress. So I think I started working on this. I don't know if it was a new start or whether I just picked it out, but I was definitely working on it during March for like the March Madness, where you pitch projects against each other and see which is the winner. That may be the last time you saw it, back in March. I'm just trying to find it in my book. When did I start you? When did I start you? Can't find it. I feel like this is going to be the most awful Flosstube ever because I'm just looking down. It's because of the room that I'm in. When I'm on the sofa in the living room, I can have my things laid out a bit better so I don't have to constantly look down. But here, There's not as much surface space to plop things on. Here we go. So Dead the Aquarium sale was started. Oh, I started this on the 1st of January of this year. So this was my new year, new start. And I did a little bit at the beginning of the year, but originally when I kitted this, I had kitted it with Royal Broidery, but I didn't have all of the threads. So I put in my box the threads that I could find, and there were quite a few missing. So I made a little start on it. And then I went for quite some time with missing colours, which was just annoying me. I remember when I picked it up in March, I still had some missing colours. But when I decided to pull it out this month, I went through my DMC stash and I added to my little box. So this box is now full of all the colours. Every single colour that I need to stitch this is now in the box. And I feel like I've made really good progress since I had access to all the colours. So it is now kitted in a mix of Royal Broidery and DMC, but it means that everything I need is in the box. And I've been able to make some real headway on this. I'm very pleased with how it's looking. Shall we do a little manual zoom in? So you can see it a little bit better. So I've got the rays at the top there, the hanging sign. This foliage has taken a lot more shape. I've started to do like the rocky cave here. And these little blobs here are the zoanthids, which are a type of coral, a type of soft coral. I've got the little outline here of one of the creatures. Not sure what it is off the top of my head. Definitely taking shape though here. I think, is this some kind of shark? Not sure. It kind of reminds me of the little dog from Nightmare Before Christmas. Although I'm sure that's not what it is, being that it's in an aquarium setting, but you know, just the shape of it. That's what it currently reminds me of. And then I come down here to the no touch little rock pool, and I've done the tiny cute little octopus here. I think this is an anemone. I've got some seaweed. And yes, I've started to do the bottom of this rock pool. So as it stands at the moment, I have actually got the whole height of the pattern sort of stitched now, top to bottom. This is the highest point, I believe, and this rock pool is at the very bottom. So yeah, it fits nicely in this number 4 nudge. Quite pleased about that. I will need to move it over a little bit more to the side. There's quite a lot of loose fabric here because this is sort of a landscape design, but I'm not going to have to move it for quite some time until all of this section is done. I'm stitching this, I think, on a 32 count, no, 36 count. This is 36 count even weave. It is again from Stitch Bunny Shop, and it is my overcast sky print. It's like a really nice neutral grey. I did go through a bunch of fabrics when I was trying to kit this. I looked at loads of different blues, and I was really indecisive. I couldn't make my mind up, and in the end I just decided to go for grey. And I thought, with it being like the Deadly Aquarium, that, like, I don't know, grey instead of blue. I just liked the idea. Like, I think a lot of the Lola Crow patterns are like a little bit spooky, spooky sort of vibes. So I just thought I would do it on grey instead of the obvious choice of blue. And I like it. I like how that is turning out so far. Yeah, so that is that one. I think I've given you all the info about it. Just trying to get back into the swing. Like I said, I've had a bit of a delay between filming. I'm like, have I told them the designer? Have I told what I'm stitching on, what I'm stitching with? I think we have. I think we have covered all the bases. Oh, and I've got my Moody Mermaid needle minder on here, which I love. So that is Dead the Aquarium. What do we have next? My stuff is getting in a bit of chaos here. You belong there. Oh, I have pulled out one of my lovely Rendale projects, which has the box in with it, so that will save me inserting one image. This is Variety of Life by Bothy. It is a Rendale design chartered by Bothy, so the original artwork is by Nadezdha of Wrendale. And I absolutely love this. It is so beautiful. The 6 little birdies. The owl being the big monster birdie. So this came as a kit. Everything is in that box. And Last time you saw it, I believe I had completed the owl. I think I had also completed the sparrow, and I was part way through the robin. And this particular project should have been a finish so long ago for a few reasons. Firstly, I love it. And when I really love something, I am highly motivated to stitch on it. Secondly, it's on Ada, which is super easy to work on. And especially when I'm having times when I've not got that much stitching time to be had, a lot of the time I gravitate to like my Ada projects because they're easy, and because like these days I don't actually have that many of them, so this would have been an obvious pick to pull out and work on, except for the fact that this project has given me so many disasters. I have been tracking it digitally, so even though it is a paper pattern from the kit, I had scanned it, put it on my tablet. I started marking it off digitally, and I originally had a problem with just losing my save file. I have no idea what happened to it or where it went. I lost my original save file when I was part way through the sparrow. So I thought, no problem. I was at a stitchy day at the time for Tan's birthday. I was with Rosie, who I started working on this with, Rosie from Rosie X Stitches. We were at Tan's birthday celebration, and all of a sudden I had no up-to-date pattern to work from with the markings. So I thought, no problem, I'll just start on the robin. So that's what I did. I started on the robin, and then subsequently, when I went home a few days later, I actually found the file that I could not for the life of me find while we were at the stitchy day. I found it, so I finished the sparrow. I've then put it down for quite a number of months, and when I've come back to it, I've had the exact same issue. My file with all my marked progress for the robin had vanished, and this one had truly vanished. Like, I have still not found it. I couldn't find it anywhere. And so I'd sort of put this on hold. I'd put it down, I'd put it away, because with the Rendales, they are so confetti heavy, and I could not face trying to re-find my progress. I do not understand how any of you, and I know some of you watching will be stitchers that stitch without marking, and I sometimes see people at retreats stitching without marking, and I just have huge respect for anyone that can do that. I cannot. I have to mark off as I go, and if I end up in the position of losing my progress, like my marked file, I just go into a meltdown, especially for something like a Rendale that is very confetti. Like, there is confetti all over the place, even though they look like quite simple designs. All the colours tend to be quite similar, and it is just a real headache to find my place again, and I get very easily confused. So that's why this was in a timeout for so long. But you will see that my robin is now finished. So this was the robin that was unfinished, and he is now done, along with my sparrow that you've seen before, and my beautiful big owl. They're so pretty, but we have another friend over here, the blue tips. So I have started to stitch the fourth bird, which in my mind is really pleasing because there are 6 birds in the design, the owl being significantly larger than any other. So 3 birds is sort of 50% if you consider it by bird, but obviously in reality this bird is the biggest bird. So once you've done these 3, you are sort of over your 50% really. And then now that I've done so much work on the blue tip, I am really powering closer and closer to a finish on this in the not too distant future. I have saved my file for my blue tip progress and double and triple and quadruple checked that it was definitely saved before I shut it down. And I cannot wait to do some more work on this. I think I've also re-inspired Rosie to pull hers out because we did start it at the same time, but I was enjoying it so much that I had sort of sped ahead of Rosie. And sort of she'd had loads of other finishes and been working on loads of other things, but she hadn't touched this particular project. And when I posted it on Instagram like last week or the week before, she's then pulled hers out and made a big chunk of progress on her owl. So yeah, we're both chipping away at this. I'm not sure that Rosie will catch up to me because I am now really wanting to finish this. It is high on my list of things that I would like to get ticked off. I can definitely see myself picking this up again in the month of August. As I said, it is a kit, so I'm stitching it on all the kit supplied fabric with the kit supplied threads. It is a 16 count, so most of the Bothy kits, Wrendale Bothy kits, come with a 14 count Ada with the Rendale speckles on, but some of the larger, more detailed designs they actually do on 16 count. This is one of them, so that is what I'm working on. And a lot of the Bothy and Rendale kits now, you have the option for even weave, but not for this one. This one does not come with even weave option. Only the designs that are on 14 count come with an even weave option in the 28, but the 16 count kits do not come with the 32 count option. It is a case of stitch them on the 16 count Ada, or if you're not happy with that, switch the fabric out to something else. But although I tend to reach for even weave more and more, or occasionally linen for my projects, oh, it's the fly. Sorry, that really made me flinch. Yeah, sorry if I made anyone else jump. That made me jump. I think it landed on me or on my project, but I just saw it really close to my eyes. Horrible. I've completely lost my train of thought. Yes, let's leave it there. This is my Rendale variety of life. It's a very lovely project. I'm hoping for a finish soon, and I think we've said everything we need to say about it. There are my birdies. Oh, horrible fly. So I've got 2 projects left, last 2. This one is my koi dragon. You have seen a lot of this, and fairly recently too. I have been chipping away, and as I've gotten closer and closer to a finish on this, I have been working on it as much as I can to try and actually push it completely over the finish line. Last time you saw it, it was already very close to a finish. However, the backstitch on this is actually insane. So this design is by Nadezdha Gavrilenkova. She designs a lot of beautiful dragons, absolutely gorgeous dragons. And this koi dragon has been on the go for quite some time. Can I see it in my notes that are now covered with projects because I am that organised? Koi dragon must be near the front of the book, I think. Koi dragon, yes, this is my 3rd oldest whip. So we've seen 2 of my oldest whips today, number 2 and number 3. And this is my 3rd oldest whip. It was started in September 2021 on the 16th. So it has taken a real good chunk of time. And like I said, last time you saw it, I was getting really close to a finish, and like all the stitching is now complete, the cross stitching, but not the back stitch. The back stitch on this is intricate. There is a lot of it. But I have started. I have made a start on it. So if I just try to hold it without covering too much of it at the top. But you hopefully can see, even with me holding it back here, you can see where I've started to backstitch, because it does bring the pattern to life, and I have just started like outlining the wings. And if I zoom in, so you can just see it that bit better. So I've started the backstitch here and all here, and then in here. Like, you don't really see that so much from a distance, but there is so much intricate backstitch. And you know, this is just a tiny bit that I've started. Yeah, there is a lot more to go, a lot more to go. And I cannot handle doing that much backstitch and just, you know, having at it the way that I would when I'm close to finishing the crosses. I can only do a bit at a time before it fatigues my brain and yeah, starts to be frustrating basically. Like, I don't mind backstitch, and a lot of the patterns that I gravitate towards have a lot of it, and that is absolutely fine. But if I've chosen to leave all the backstitch to the end, which on this pattern I didn't backstitch as I was going along. If I leave it all to the end and there's this much of it, I just cannot finish it in one big chunk. There are many hours of backstitching left to go into this project. I did work it out. I looked at the pattern, and when I moved along to the backstitch key, off the top of my head, I believe that there are 14 different variants of backstitch in this project. So that is, it's not necessarily 14 colours. I think there might have been somewhere between 7 and 9 different colours of backstitch, But then in some of those colours, you have both single strand and double strand. I don't think there's any triple strand backstitch in this. But yeah, there's either single or double in a variety of different colours, and overall there's basically 14 different types of backstitching that I need to do before it is a finish. But I've made a start. Yeah, hopefully this will be finished soon, but I think in previous videos I had said, oh, I'm pretty sure this is going to be a finish, like, you know, next month. Yeah, this I will be happy to finish by the end of the year, because now that all the crosses are done, if I'm just picking it up for maybe a maximum of an hour at a time to chip away at the backstitch, you know, I'm probably going to have to pick this up at least 10 more times, doing an hour per session. I would say at least 10 hours before the backstitch on this is done. It is slow going. I have to concentrate a lot, but we will get there. I really want this to be a finish within this year, is now my plan. I do not want this project to see another whip parade. Yes, your whip parade days are over, Koi Dragon. This is a 14 count black Ada, because I don't think I've run you through that yet, but yeah, just basic 14 count black Ada and being stitched all in CXC. So that is Koi Dragon. And that brings me to our last project. So, as I said, this is July's roundup, and a July roundup would not be complete without at least a nod to Jolly July. Jolly July seems to have just completely skipped by me this year. I had planned to do some Christmas stitching this month, and then it got to the beginning of the month and I just wasn't feeling it, and I just wanted to work on what I wanted to work on, and that's fine, you know. We can have plans, but we can also change plans when we decide that we're just not in the mood, and that is where I was at this month. So it got to the very last day of the month and I had done 0 Christmas stitching, and I thought, I'm just gonna pull out one Christmas project for this last day of the month as my little nod to the Jolly July that I have completely ignored this year. And I selected Welcome to the North Pole. So this is by the designer whose name I always get wrong. Let's have a quick look. I know it's got Cottage in it, but I've had a mind blank. Welcome to the North Pole. Welcome to the North Pole by Primrose Cottage Designs. I think previously, I usually get in a muddle. Sometimes I call them Primrose Cottage Stitchers or Stitchers, which they are not. It is Primrose Cottage Designs. I started this last year at one of the Essex retreats. I think maybe like the September Essex retreat in 2024. And I started it alongside lots of other lovely ladies. And then a couple of us in the group stitching it had already started it. I think the people that actually started it from scratch at the retreat was myself, Teresa from Teresa Little Stitcher. I think Gina had already started it, Nikki had already started it, and I think Susie had already started it as well. I'm pretty sure. So yeah, Teresa and I both started it from the first stitch, and we were sort of playing a bit of catch up with everyone else who already had it as a whip. But I have made a little bit of progress for this July, so not all is lost. I have done a little bit of festive stitching. My goal was to finish Mr. Snowman here. I'd already done like baby snowman. I wanted to do big snowman and it didn't quite get there. So yeah, he's got a little bit of blank space, like the little heart here isn't filled in. There's some gaps like in his hat, and I've not given him any arms. But he is definitely looking a lot more done, a lot more built than last time I showed this to you. So there has been some progress. And then while we're here, you may as well just have a nice little close-up view of everything. I think there's 6 rows to this, and I've done 1, I've done 2, and I'm working on the 3rd. I have been putting buttons on it as I go so far, so you'll see on this project, like this is a button, this present is a button, I've got the button here on the front of the Elf Express. And this little bird up here is a button. And this little heart here is a button, but I'm pretty sure this one is going to be stitched and not another button. So yeah, that is my Jolly July project that probably got like somewhere between an hour and 2 hours of stitching time. But yeah, at least I did something Christmassy. I usually really enjoy Jolly July, and in some previous years I've been like really Christmas heavy with my stitching, but yeah, that just didn't happen this year. But I feel like I've done a little bit, so that's okay. I'm happy with what I've done. This is being stitched on a 28 count opalescent like hand dyed linen that was gifted to me by Gina. When I was starting it at the Essex retreat, I had taken a piece of fabric with me that was not dissimilar to this, but it was just like a different shade. And when I actually got it out and tossed it with the floss, which I probably should have done beforehand, but I hadn't, I wasn't happy. Like I thought it was maybe a bit too pale and maybe a bit too like cool toned, almost like my white might have got a bit lost on the other fabric. So then I was in a bit of a flap because I didn't know what to do, and Gina came to my rescue because she had this piece of linen with her and she let me use it. So thank you, Gina, who is always so generous. But yeah, it's literally the perfect fabric for this. And yeah, very happy with how it looks. There is a variety of threads being used in this. They are all called for. And I do have my little bag here, which is actually one of the ones that Susie made. It's actually like more of a folio than a bag. And yeah, I've got all the threads in here. They do all fit in well. That is not a design flaw. That is just me being lazy with not pushing them back in when I'm stitching. But yeah, it's got a load of like over dyed threads in this. And then you see at the top, there is some DMC. But yes, I've bought all the called for. I am losing my thread that I didn't put away properly. Which one is that? It's Classic Colourworks. I think, yeah, there's mostly Classic Colourworks in here. There's at least 1 or 2 Gentle Arts, and there's also some Weeks Dye Work. So it's a real mix, the called for, and then just a handful of DMC. So that is all of my stitching to share with you today. In terms of haul, I have once again been very good. I have been too busy really for thinking about stitchy shopping. I think so far I was talking to Rosie, my friend Rosie from Rosie X Stitches. I was talking to Rosie literally I think within the last couple of days, and we were both saying that we both feel that we've been really good this year. Like sort of inadvertently been really good with not really making many stitchy purchases. I have previously tried to do Stitch from Stash in other years and I have failed miserably. And then Rosie and I both sort of like decided, like our theory is that because we were talking about maybe trying to do a total Stitch from Stash next year, and in the end I think we've both decided against it because I've always failed when I've tried that before. And this year I didn't make any restrictions on myself in terms of telling myself that I was having a no spend year or anything like that, and lo and behold I've bought a lot less. And I honestly think that like telling myself I'm having a no spend year immediately makes me want to buy more cross stitching stuff. If I don't label it as a no spend year, I just seem to do better that way. So yeah, it's another month of like pretty much zero haul to show you. The only things that I have purchased are my subscription pattern to the Wordy Birds. So this is the September release that has just come out, but I think, yeah, we always get them a little bit ahead. So this is my most recent purchase. I've just realised this technically should be in my August update, but never mind. It's one thing that I don't have to show you next month. And in fact, by next month's episode, I'm probably going to have started this. So then I'll be showing you the actual stitching. So we will roll with it. Yeah, this is my only recent purchase, is the September installment of the Wordy Birds. I'm pretty sure I already showed you August's in my last episode. So yeah, I love this one with the chickens. It is really, really up my street. I have a lot of patterns featuring chickens that I'm yet to get round to stitching. But yeah, love chicken patterns and I love this. So looking forward to starting that. I have already kitted it in terms of pulling all the threads for it. I've got all the colours. They are in a box, ready to go. All I need to do is add fabric. So yeah, that is like the only purchase I've made. And then what I'm holding here is not a purchase, but this is something that I forgot to show you. So a couple of months ago when I did the Nurge hoop giveaway of the orange hoops that were gifted to me by Hobby Jobby, when they sent me my set of orange hoops, also sent me a lovely Luca S kit that I forgot to share with you at the time. So I just thought I would give you a little peek at that. This is a lovely kit with hot air balloons, absolutely gorgeous. Just over the cliffs and like an ocean, really pretty pattern. This is on 16 count Ada and it uses 57 colours. And the design, I think it said on it 30 by 30 centimetres is the finished design size, so it's really not that big. And I think it packs in quite a lot of detail, considering that it is only a 30 by 30 full coverage. I do think, yeah, there is a little bit of backstitch. I don't know if you'll be able to see it well enough, but there are some tiny bits of backstitch just on the balloons and a little bit down here on some of the boats, just on the sails. But yeah, for something that's only going to be 30 by 30 centimetres when it's finished and that has almost no backstitch, I think the detail in this is quite amazing. And also, very randomly, I went in a hot air balloon many years ago when I was a child. I went with my mum and dad, and my mum was looking at old videos. I think that a lot of because they were obviously on like video cassette, like on VHS tapes, a lot of my childhood videos, and I think my mum had a lot of them moved over to like either DVD or USB or something. She went to a place that could do that for you. And I think my mum and dad, like not that long ago, had a bit of a session of just sitting down and watching like old home videos. And she sent me a couple of clips, and one of the clips that she sent me was me as a child poking around the basket of this hot air balloon that we were about to go and ride in. I don't have any pictures or anything like that of us actually in it because we were in it. There was no one else there to take any footage. But yeah, just very random. Yeah, just reminds me of the fact that I have been in one of these once upon a time. Although I think I might be too scared to go in one ever again. I think I was completely clueless at the time as to the potential dangers, and yeah, now I'm a bit more risk averse. But yeah, good memories. I have been in a hot air balloon once upon a time. So that is everything that I have to share with you today. I'm just going to grab a little bit of my drink because I am parched after talking for this long. Just looking at the camera, we are on 43 minutes. Wow. For those of you that have had enough of me, thank you for taking the time to join me today. I've enjoyed filming, it's been nice to catch up. Like I said, I'm a bit late because we are already a week into August, but none of the projects I've shown you today would have been touched so far in August. So yes, everything is still neat in terms of that is all genuine July progress. Goodbye if you are leaving. Thank you for sitting with me and going through my stitching, and I will see you again hopefully in around a little less than a month. Hopefully my next one will be filmed more on time. For those of you that are staying for my general chit chat and life update, yeah, there has been quite a lot going on here. So I am sat in my bedroom currently, and it's all looking fairly tidy and neat over this way, but we are not going to point the camera down there and venture that way because it is chaos. I decided a couple of days ago, I say decided, my hand was kind of forced. Adam has been asking me for a very long time to sort out my clothes. I have amassed lots of clothes over the years. I did go through periods where I did do too much clothes shopping. I've not done that for a long time, but I think more than that, it's the fact that I never really get rid of anything. That is the main issue. And I never really needed to, because like, other than like when I had the kids, obviously my size and shape changed. But prior to that, from like the age of 14 or 15 years old, I stopped growing. And there are literally things in my wardrobe that I have had since I was 15 or 16. Yeah, which is crazy, but some things are classic. You know, I've got jeans and stuff from then, and various other bits and bobs. And then I've got some things that I'm just like, I can't bear to part with them because Daisy might want them one day. But anyway, I digress. Basically, the point is that Adam was just like, it is at the point where you just have to tackle it. It is too much stuff. And with the sort of house move in mind that we're hoping to have at some point, yeah, we need to do a good clear out. I can't be dragging all this stuff along with me. So I decided to empty my wardrobes. And I had one of those moments. If I'm feeling brave enough, I'll pop a picture for you on the screen. If there isn't one, I decided not to show you the mess. But I pulled out 3 sections of the wardrobe. There are 6 in total. And I pulled out 3 sections, and it was all over my bed, it was all over the floor, and I just had one of those awful moments where you become overwhelmed with what you've started, and I was just having a major what have I done moment. Yeah, it was terrible, and I worked on it all day. I put in like maybe a full 8 hours of just clothes sorting. And I'm not there yet. So as I'd sort of, yeah, put in that full day on it, everything that was still not put back and not sorted through, I've just had to pile. So yes, at that end of my room at the moment, there are just several boxes and crates just piled with the clothes that I still need to get through. I'm hoping to re-tackle some of that tomorrow because, as I mentioned, the kids are at a sleepover tonight at Grandma's, and they're staying there for most of tomorrow as well. They've sort of had 2 days at Grandma's with 1 night in between. So tomorrow I want to tackle the pile of clothes at the end of the room, get rid of those, or put them back if they're staying, and then I might be brave and tackle the other sections, but I am not going to make the mistake of dragging out the 3 remaining sections at the same time. I'm just going to do it one at a time. Because I think that is the more sensible option. So anyway, yeah, I've just been doing sort of organising of clothes. We have had some new babies born, as in cute furry puppy babies. So for those of you that always enjoy my puppies when we have them, I will pop some puppy spam on the screen for you. I do have a really cute video actually of some of them where they're doing all their cute little snuffly noises. If I can find that on my phone, it was pretty recent, I'm sure I've still got it. I will pop that up and you can listen to them for a moment instead of listening to me. So yeah, super cute puppy snuffle noises. Yeah, I know that a lot of you do like seeing the babies. So yeah, we've had all that going on. We've had babies, we've had cleaning, tidying, decluttering, the bedroom of which was just one small part. I've been trying to declutter and tidy in other parts of the house as well. Kids have been on holiday, and I don't think I've taken that many photos while we've been out and about, but we've done quite a few different things. We have been to like the farm park that we've got a pass for, safari. We've been to a couple of just like random parks. I discovered a few parks that were a bit further afield that we've not been to before, and we've been going to the local park. We did a bit of paddle boarding, went there with Adam, but then sadly the weather took a bit of a turn. So yeah, we had one good day of paddleboarding out on the water as a family. I say day, like we go for a couple of hours. And we bought all our paddleboarding stuff last year, and last year we used it loads. I think we must have been like, 6 or 7 times in that 6-week summer holiday. And this summer, like, we had all the kit, it was already there, sat there, we've used it once. And it's not for lack of desire to get out there and do it, just every day that we've thought we might want to go and do it, the weather's been pretty miserable. So that has been a shame. And like I said, I've been utilising our farm pass a lot because that place has loads of indoor stuff as well as outdoor. So on the miserable days, we've been going there. And then we've had a few days where the weather was good enough to paddleboard, but we couldn't go because I don't really want to take the 2 kids paddleboarding by myself. Like, we go sort of 1 adult and 1 child per paddleboard. So yeah, Adam and I, it's an activity that we do together as a family. And the days where the weather's been good enough, I would have had to take them by myself, and Adam wasn't able to come with us. So we did other things instead. But I'm really hoping, I keep hearing that we're going to be having like a pickup in the weather in these sort of coming weeks of August. So I've got my fingers crossed for that, because it would be a shame to not get at least a couple more paddleboarding sessions done before the end of the year. Because yeah, after the summer we won't do it, it'll all get packed away again until next summer. So yeah, a couple more sessions would be nice. Anything else I've got to share with you? Yeah, so my sort of health and fitness regime has been continuing. I've slowed down a little bit. My progress has slowed down a little bit, and that is just by virtue of the holidays and the kids being off. My routine has been thrown out. I had got into a really nice routine of when I would go, and it would be in the school day. Obviously there is no school day at the moment, so I've been sort of having to go on evenings instead, or days like today when Adam's mum and dad have had the children, I've been able to go in the morning. But I have been muddling through, and I've just sort of dropped my sessions down a bit. So I was doing 4 gym workouts a week and 5 cardio sessions a week, 4 of which immediately follow those 4 workouts. So yeah, I've basically been doing 4 workouts a week, followed by my cardio, and then I've been squeezing in a 5th cardio session at home. It has been like my normal routine, and that has had to be downgraded a little bit, but I'm just really pleased that I've been sticking to it. So yeah, we're a couple of weeks into the holidays now, we're like halfway, and every single week I have managed a minimum of 3 workouts, 3 cardio sessions. So that is where I'm sat with that at the moment. Like I said, my progress has slowed down a bit, but I'm still making progress, so I'm pleased about that. And once the kids are back at school, then I can like up it and get back on my previous schedule. But yeah, I'm very pleased that I've been sticking to that. I have seen some big changes, which I'm definitely not brave enough to put on Flosstube at the moment. Yeah, quite proud of the after picture. Not so sure about posting my before picture on YouTube at this point. So yeah, maybe I'll leave that for another time in the future. But yes, I have been making progress and sticking to it, so that is great. Have I got any other exciting news? I don't think I do. I think that just about covers it all. Have I got any exciting plans? Yes, so I am going to be meeting up with Rosie from Rosie X Stitches this month, not for a stitchy day, but we are going to have a child adventure day. So Rosie's going to come with her little boy. I'm going to take my boy and my girl, and I'm also taking a bonus child. So our friend Oliver, who I mentioned to you a little while ago when he had his motorbike accident, he is a single dad. He's a lot better now. He is back at home, needing a lot of help. He's not particularly mobile. There's still a lot of damage to the one hand, and there's still ongoing surgeries to fix things. But yes, he's had a bit of a time of it because he's had his little girl at home. It's the holidays, and it has been a real struggle for him. And I volunteered and said that I would have her on that day and take her along for our outing. So yes, there's going to be myself and Rosie in charge of 4 children, and hopefully we survive it and we all have a good time. I'm not sure where we're going yet. I don't know the name of it. It's like a bird place, I think, like a wetlands place with like loads of different birds to see, but also loads of like kiddie play stuff and a splash pad and things like that. So yes, hoping for good weather for that day out, and we do have a backup plan which Rosie has organised. I've forgotten what it is, but we do have a plan. If the weather is terrible, there is another place nearby that we can go to instead. So I'm looking forward to that. That should be really nice. And as far as August goes, I think those are my only solid plans. Yeah, I think that is my only like a big day out planned, and obviously I'll just be taking the kids on loads of other random little trips to the park on their bikes, things like that in the interim. And then I don't have any exciting stitching plans until September, because September is when I have my next retreat, but we will speak about that closer to the time. I have waffled on for so long tonight, but you know what? I was not in a rush to get this finished, because when I go back upstairs, Adam is just going to be sat in his headphones on his Xbox. So I thought I may as well take my time and not rush. But we have been almost an hour now. It is close to an hour. So I will bid you all a good night. I don't know what time it is, when and where you're watching, because I'm not sure I'm going to get this uploaded tonight. But as it stands, it is 8:10 here. I have already eaten because I ate quite early, and yes, I'm probably just going to go and stick an audiobook on my headphones to drown out the noise of what is going on around me. I'm going to pull out my stitching and I'm going to have a quiet evening. I hope that you get lots of lovely stitching done between now and when I see you again. Take care, everyone, and yeah, I will see you relatively soon. Bye.